Hello future people, Jason the Bruce here with Getting Tabled, and today I'm going to give you a bit of an unboxing. Alright, so as you can see, I've received a package from Russia. In case it's not too obvious, I've received a package from Russia. I don't know. I may have mentioned a few episodes ago what I was waiting on. I don't actually remember, but I'm going to open up the box. As you can see, it's still completely sealed at this stage. And I'll come back to you. These are actually very cheap plastic toys. And I mean, these are very cheap plastic toys. These are all mechs. I intend to use these for Gamma Wolves. Anybody that's been following Gamma Wolves for a little while may have seen unboxings of some of these. I've gotten some of the other ones. I've purchased a couple that have already been shown off. Before we start going through them, I think I might give you a quick look at the website where these came from. So, this is the Souldark website. This is obviously a Russian website, hence why I've got the Russian stuff. On Technolog RoboGear, you will start to see some images of what I've received. Now, I know I've got at least one of the T-Rexes. I think I got the Griffin. I'm not 100% sure. I definitely got one of the spiders. I think I got one of the werewolves as well. The locust I think I got. From there I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I do have a couple of the pumas, because at that price, why wouldn't I? So these are, like I said, insanely cheap. So if you're in the market for some cheap, and I mean cheap, mechs for a game, obviously that have to be counts as to some extent. Now with Gamma Wolves is a game where you kind of use anything you want, to the point where I could use my Transformers if I really wanted to. I could use my Megatron. Ooh, yes. So, as you can see, I may have gotten a couple. So, amongst this, I should have 9 mechs and 3 cannons. Now, these cannons are not actually for me. These are actually for my housemate. He's going to be using these for Kings of War. You do get instructions on the website. They're not in English, but the diagram is fairly straightforward. So, those two halves get glued together around this, which is the firing pinion. Somewhere in here will be the springs for everything. That is the legs that it all gets held on. And then obviously you saw that these are the missiles that get shot. Now, we're not building them for that, but if you wanted to build them that way, you obviously could. It's just a matter of what you're wanting to achieve. I'm wanting a miniature, but if you wanted a cheap toy for a little one, like seriously, like what could go wrong with this? Alright, so I'm going to start off with this one. And I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the spider, but I could be wrong. Now, the first thing you're going to notice, compared to the website we were just looking at, is that these do not come in the boxes. The reason for that is because you're buying these directly at a large discount, and that's one of the ways that they achieve it. The thing I'm quite amazed at is how much detail's in this. There's even detail on the inside, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. That will be because it's got an open canopy though, I suspect. So this one actually does have a spring. So to some extent that's going that way, and that allows you to have that open or closed. Actual ball joints in the feet, so you could actually pose this. So this is the underneath. You've actually got a decent amount of movement there. There's obviously cleanup and stuff that has to come on this. But at first glance, I have to say I'm impressed. I mean, for the amount of money that I've paid for this, I can't not be impressed, really. This was $4. Like, seriously. This kit's $4. They've even snipped it off the sprue for you. Oh, and it comes with a pilot. If you wanted a pilot, there is one there. It's not a huge amount of detail, but I've seen worse. I've seen miniatures with worse faces on them. Like, seriously. This is insane. Arms and stuff. That gives you an idea of what you're getting in these kits. But what I'm going to do from this point, I'm going to build these off camera and come back to you with some of them built and give you an idea of what they actually end up looking like. I haven't built everything yet, but I've kind of lined everything up just so you can get an idea of what we're looking at. This one here is the one that we were looking at the parts for only a moment ago. Gorgeous little tank there. I'm going to call this guy The Rock because he's kind of going, bring it. This is the T-Rex and another glorious tank. So just to give you an idea, these are all posable. These weapons are completely exchangeable. To start with, the assault cannons here can come off and I can replace them with like little mini missiles. These massive missiles can be taken off, and in theory, that gun there, if I was to remove that, then already it's looking a little bit different. Maybe I want that. There is completely different things here as well. There is like a hatch that you can put on the front here to make it look like somebody could come out. The actual hatch does not open, but obviously that's what it's supposed to look like. There is a more machine gun looking thing here. I really like that radar dish. It really feels like it suits. The bottom is empty. This actually has some decent weight in it too, quite frankly. Its brother here is of a similar nature, except everything is mounted on the side. There's a couple of different gun types that you can get here. Again, you can swap this over for a hatch. There is no radar for this one though. Again, it's hollow on the inside. It doesn't match up perfectly, but from the top, you put a little bit of green stuff on this and you could easily hide how cheap this is. So this is the gentleman that I was showing off on camera. All of these legs are completely posable. I've just kind of got him like that to make it look like he's walking, or maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he's waving to say hello. I quite like the werewolf. This thing is gorgeous. This again is another one that has a lot of weapon options. You could swap this off for the toys that shoot. Speaking of options, the T-Rex, I'm sorry, is just straight out of Mech Warrior. Like, you can't tell me that's not straight out of Mech Warrior. Anyway, there's two different cabins for this. There's the one that I've used, which is all nice and closed. Or there's an open one where these are all empty, kind of similar to everything else that you've looked at. This is not everything. I still have another 4 to build, I think. And I'll come back at you with those shortly. Alright, so this is the Demolisher. Just for comparison's sake, this is the same Redemptor Dreadnought that you saw in the last shot. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I mean, to me, this kind of looks like it's an armchair with guns strapped to the side of it. It's just not a look that I like. So here we are again. This is the two Pumas. Now, these are both the same kit. You can build this a couple of different ways. One of the options is to just not include this cage at all. I'm actually very tempted to take the cage off one of mine. The reason I haven't at this point is because then it's going to be even more obvious that there's no driver in there. But I can probably play around with some stuff and just make it look like it's full of wires and stuff. This does only come with one set of weapons, and they're both supposed to be these. I mean, they're very obviously based on the same kit, but I've done a couple of things to try and separate them a little bit. The first is the bit on the legs. I've got them different ways around to try and help distinct them. And yeah, the other is, as I hinted at, I might actually just take that top off one of these entirely. I'm definitely a lot happier with this than I am with the previous one. So just one more to go. So here we have the Cyber Dragon. It's a really dumb name, but I don't mind the look of him. I mean, it's totally not Mecha Godzilla. And that marks the last of them. This has probably had the most complex build out of all of them. This is all separate pieces here in the tail. This could have easily been one piece. I don't know why it was a couple. I quite like this, honestly. This one, unfortunately, only comes with the one combination of weapons. But hey, they're posable. So that's something. I don't know if he's the one that I'm going to use. The head's posable too. The mouth should be, but I kind of glued the mouth in place. I will ultimately be gluing quite a few things in place on these, but I haven't kind of picked my poses yet. He is the largest of all of them. So there we go. That's everything that I purchased from Souldark. It's not the entire range. As I went through the website earlier in the video, you will have seen there's quite a few things that I didn't end up having. Why did I cover this? Well, part of it is because I'm trying to get stuff together so I can play Gamma Wolves. Other part of it is because miniatures are something that you can kind of get anywhere. I kind of wanted to do something to show that you don't have to go with the big names, especially if it's for a if you're playing a game of Frostgrave, if you're playing Gamma Wolf, if you're playing a game that openly invites you to use other things, warns you that you have to come up with your own miniature sources, sometimes that can be a really fun experience. Sometimes you can make a conversion out of something that nobody would have thought of. Just trying to illustrate that you can find the sources of your miniatures from other areas, and it can be a lot of fun doing that. I'm not sitting here and telling you that, hey, yes, you should buy these because these are better than... No, look, these things are very cheap. I've made that comment several times for a reason. But for what you're paying for them, it's really good. Very, very simple, cheap kits. But you can still have a lot of fun with them. Set yourself a challenge, have a bit of fun. If you're not looking for mech stuff, then obviously this is not for you. But hopefully it can illustrate the point that I'm trying to make, which is that you can have a lot of fun finding things from areas that you don't expect to. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time, play more games.